Okay, so this is the Malaysian Goronong, and we are going to taste test this right now. Okay, so here's the Malaysian Goronong pepper, and here's a better look at it up here. I'm going to pick a couple of these off of here. They got to come off anyway. But this plant right now that you're looking at is roughly, it's into its second year already. I started this last year in January. So you're like a year and a half. So it's going into its second year really. For me, it's already 2 seasons old. So to me, it's like 2 years. So let me just show you something too. I got a lot of these insects chewing holes in my peppers, unfortunately. And you can see they're really ruining my peppers. Now, this has been going on all over the place. So some of them are worse than others. I don't know. There was one in here that was really bad. It had a really bad hole in it. The profile of this plant, as you can see, it's basically just green. There's very little purpling at the nodes. This is more of a broadleaf plant, though it doesn't really look it right now. But these leaves get quite big, you know, kind of like that, but they get much bigger. It's just this plant is older, and it's just kind of getting tired, you know, and it's kind of stringy. The main plant died, as you can see, and one of the little suckers that I let grow on the bottom down here, you can see there's like a couple of them still growing down here. Now those will get really big next year. This plant will be 3 years old before you see it produce peppers and get big like this. So these plants can live for many years, and then when you finally expose them to the light in spring, they'll just go from a little stunted plant, 3-year-old stunted plant like that, to a giant big pepper producing plant. And it'll produce a lot of peppers because that plant's already totally mature. The root system's completely established. So I like to definitely let the stunted plants winter over for a couple years, small like that, and when they're ready, they'll shoot up like this. You can see this was a little plant like that one at one time. And so one of them will just become the alpha plant, if you want to call it that, and it'll take off and get big and become productive, and others will stay small like that. And they'll stay like that until one of these other plants die off, and they can start growing. So it's kind of a funny trade-off, but you can have these little plants like this for quite a while before they start getting productive. So the plant pretty much is a smooth stem on it, and that's really about it for the plant profile. It's pretty standard. So we'll pick one of these. I am definitely probably not going to be eating the whole pepper on one of these. These are very big, and I've already eaten these in the past. Oh, here it is. This is the one with the bad damage on it. I'll pull another one. I can't eat that, guys. I don't even want to put that in my mouth. I mean, I'll save the seeds if they're good, but let's give you a better look at this. And so you can see the size of this pepper. I mean, these things get pretty big. You know, it's got the classic bonnet top on it, and it's a real wrinkly type of pepper. Sort of like a habanero, but it's big and long. It's not really wide and ball shaped. And these are very, very hot. And they also have a very strong, I call it Fatalii effect. I guess I'm coining that term. I don't mean to overuse that term, but really I have no other way to explain it than calling it the Fatalii effect, because Fataliis are extremely spicy and they can upset your stomach pretty bad. So I know that these will cause that Fatalii effect. Now, eating these raw ain't probably the best idea in the world. You're probably better off cooking with them, like I've mentioned in one of my past videos. Cooking with them with cheese or meat fats, and it can sink into that fat. Cook it with some onions, some sweet peppers, maybe throw some herbs in there, and let that flavor blend in and mellow. The heat's more bearable, and the spiciness is spread out a little bit. But if a pepper is very, very spicy, like the Fatalii, you're going to get that harsh effect anyway, regardless how you cook it. So, anyway, Just showing you the pepper, a couple different views, and just want you to get a good look at it. That's what it looks like. And we're going to take a bite and give it a taste test right now. Alright, here we go with another pepper review. Not looking forward to this one because I know that this one is very hot, guys. And it's big too, so I don't think I'm eating this whole thing. It's hard for me to eat these peppers completely. They upset my stomach for sometimes days when I eat them raw like that. If I eat it with food at least and it's spicy, it passes through your system, where if you just eat these raw, I really don't know how these guys do that with these nagas and nagalas and reapers, and they eat them and they just... I suffer for a while from... I guess I'm older. My digestive tract is a little weaker. It kind of gets weaker as you get older. But as you can see, it's kind of a odd-shaped pepper. And no smell. Just kind of cool looking to look at. But this is from Malaysia, and they do call it the Malaysian Goronong. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure. There might be a different pronunciation for it, but I'm pronouncing it based on the way I think it should be pronounced. And here's a look at the cap on it. Hold you up. And we're going to bite it right now. So let's give it a go. First thing I'll mention about this thing, as soon as you bite into it, it starts burning your tongue. It's a direct heat. Goes right to your stomach, makes you want a heat cup. So I specifically wait later in the day to do these so I can eat some trail mix or something, so it doesn't hit my stomach very hard, because these hot peppers, man, they hit your stomach hard when you don't eat anything. Oh, some people don't like to eat because they know they're going to puke from it, so they don't want to puke all that food up. The heat is not crazy hot. It is hot though, and it's building, but it's weird kind of heat. It's warming me up all the way down to my stomach, but it's not like killer heat burning me up. It's warming me up all the way to my stomach. Feels like there's a big warm spot in my stomach from this thing. The pepper texture, the weird thing about this is when I bit into it, it wasn't really crunchy. It was soft and chewy, like a fruit almost. Kind of a strange effect on it, you know, from a practical point of view. It just the physical characteristics of it were kind of strange. But I'm working through the heat right now, and more or less it has more of an effect on me internally than it does in my mouth. It's hot in my mouth, but not that hot. But it's affecting my stomach a lot, and it's also affecting my esophagus, which is burning a little bit, but not like from heat, almost like a heartburn kind of a burn. Not indigestion per se, but just, it's warm. That's the best way I could describe this heat. This is really strange. It's heating up around the tongue, a little bit around the outside of the tongue and the mouth, a little bit on the lips, maybe because I'm licking my lips, but it's more or less mostly on the tongue. It's not a dangerous, crazy hot heat. It is pretty hot though. It's definitely habanero heat, not the high-end habanero. I'd probably say this is like 100,000 habanero. Burned the tongue pretty good. It's nowhere near as hot as the devil's tongue. I just did a video on that. Nowhere near as hot as that. This is the lower end. This is like a regular habanero. I could almost take a second bite off it. It's got a nice fruity flavor, almost peach flavor to it. Very smooth, very pleasant. No overtones or undertones that are awkward. It's very sweet in the sense where it actually tastes physically sweet. Not sweet meaning it's not hot. It's pretty hot, but it's nowhere near a high-level habanero. I almost want to put, and this is the bottom of it. Maybe when you get towards the seeds, it's going to get a lot hotter. I don't know. I don't think I want to go up too much more, because it is burning me inside a little bit. Like I said, indigestion, but it's not indigestion. It's that Fatalii effect I keep saying. The taste of it tastes fruity like a kind of a habanero, but tastes like peach. Has a nice follow-through of peach. It's a moist pepper. It chews up very nicely. It's very soft. And it's got a really nice taste. Now, this would go good with, like I mentioned before, cooking any kind of meats. Maybe sausage or beef or pork. It would go good with that kind of dish. Something that has fat in it. You kind of want that flavor to blend in with the fat as you're cooking with it. Okay, so you kind of want that to happen. You don't want your meal to have a sharp contrast in flavors. You want things to marinate. So you got to get used to cooking with these peppers so the flavors infuse and you're comfortable with it. I'm not getting cold sweats. I'm not getting a gut cramp. I'm not getting burned from, like, I'm just not like getting completely wired out from this hot pepper. It is hot though. I'm going to say heat-wise, we'll say probably up to 100,000. I didn't go all the way up to pepper, and I really don't want to, because I really do got to get a few more pepper reviews done today. And if I eat this whole thing, I'm just going to be, I'll be trashed inside. It's hard for me to do more than 1 or 2 pepper reviews a day, like this kind of heat. It's just hard to do that. And then I got to do tomato reviews. Probably got about 40 tomato reviews to do, and they're sitting on my table, and they're starting to get, fruit flies are coming around. I got to get to all these. I can't eat all of this and do all these reviews, but at least I'm giving you an idea of the flavor and the heat and everything with it. Now, this is kind of a spicy pepper. When I say spicy, I'm not referring to the heat. I'm referring to the after effect when you eat it. Meaning, are you going to get indigestion? There's that warming effect that goes down to your stomach. Am I going to burp this up and taste it again an hour from now? That's what I mean by spicy. As far as the spiciness goes on this thing, there is a little bit of spiciness to this. I could taste it already. I wouldn't call it the Fatalii effect, because Fatali's real. I'm going to do a Fatalii taste test for you. I'm going to show you what it does to me. They really mess me up good, those things. Whereas this, it's not quite as bad, at least not yet. I still taste it in my mouth. That's the thing. See, that's what I don't like. I don't like to eat these peppers, and I'm still tasting it a while after I eat it. I could still, like, essence of it in my sinuses and stuff. I can still get that fruity flavor floating around. But the heat's come down already. I'm going to take one more small bite off it. It's really not that bad of a pepper as far as heat goes. Now, flavor again, like I said, it has that fruity habanero flavor. It's going to hang around inside of you a little bit. This pepper needs to be cooked with some kind of fats of some kind. Butter, meat fat, cheese fat, some kind of fat. You got to have that fat in there. By putting that fat in there, skins are getting stuck in my mouth from this thing. I can't talk. By having the fat, when you cook with these kind of peppers, it mellows that flavor. It blends that flavor better. Without that, this pepper is going to have a very strong, overwhelming accent to your cooking. It's going to over-accent itself. It's going to overpower the other flavors. You need some kind of a fat for that capsaicin to go into. Let me tell you something. That heat just picked up. Whew. Almost watering on the eyes. Tongue is starting to burn. The tip of it especially. Once I came up towards those seeds, man, that heat's picking up. I'm definitely going to start saying right now that this pepper is now pushing 100, 150,000. I was going to go lower. It's up there. It's starting to burn the back of my throat a little bit now. Wow, it took a while for this to happen. It's actually starting to burn where the thing hangs down in the back of your throat. That thing, that's getting burnt. Feels good though. My eyes are starting to water. The heat picked up and it went towards the back of the throat. Oh man, whew, that's rough. If I was to eat this whole pepper in one bite, I'd definitely barf. I would definitely barf because of the taste would do it to me. It's fruity, but there's a certain kind of fruitiness to that just makes you want to gag. And once you start gagging with this in you, you're going. It's coming out. I guarantee you that. Whew, that's hot, boy. Wow, I'm walking. When you see me pacing like that, that's how I deal with the heat. It hit the back of the throat pretty hard. It came in. It took a while for that to happen. It's hitting the back of the throat. It feels good. Stomach is still a little warm. Tip of the tongue is burning more than the other part of the tongue, but the whole tongue is burned. But the tip is really burning. Nose is runny, mouth is salivating. No rush, no head rush or nothing. Just watery eyes. Like I said, the back of the throat. All by the tonsils, the uvula, that whole ring, that whole part of your throat right there. Not the very back of it, and not going down into your neck or nothing like that. Not a deep throat burn. I just belched, by the way, to let out. Usually, when you eat these peppers, one of the things you got to hope for when you're eating them is you got to wait for that big belch to come in. If you don't get the belch, then you're probably going to chuck it up. That belch, if you don't hear that belch, get ready, because sooner or later your body's just going to expel it. You want to eat this, go through the experience, and then belch, and then usually you're good after that. You might be a little nauseous if you're not used to eating these hot peppers, and that, because there's like several different capsaicins in these peppers, and sometimes some of them you can be a little sensitive to them, and they'll make you nauseous, believe it or not. The odd thing about the heat on this pepper, which I don't normally get with my other peppers, is I felt it warm all the way down into my stomach, and my stomach was warm. Almost like what you would get if you get heartburn, sort of. But not heartburn. When you get heartburn, you feel a little sick and everything. It wasn't like that. It was just warm, hot. My stomach felt like there was a coal sitting in it for a minute, you know. It felt like I swallowed a hot coal. That's what it felt like. Whoop, right down. But it didn't hurt. It wasn't uncomfortable. It's just... So, I don't know. I don't know how that effect is going to bother me, but I can't finish this thing. This is way too much. Way too much raw. But at least I gave you an idea what it tastes like. Again, the flavor was a nice habanero-type fruity flavor with a stronger essence of a peach flavor. It tasted a little lot like peach. You had that came right to your mind when you're eating it. It's like, oh, that tastes like a peach, you know. Outside of that, there were no overtones or undertones. Everything was good that way. Heat is like I just described. It's a nice pepper. This is the kind of pepper you're going to want to, like I say, cook with meats and everything. Especially sausage. It'd probably go really good with any kind of bratwurst or sausage. It'd probably go really, really good with that. So, I guess that's it. That's my review for the Malaysian Goronong. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. See ya.